And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Welcome to Mallet and Michelle, live from Dripping Springs. I am Michelle here with Steve Mallet, who is not as weird as what is going on in Austin right now. If you just keep driving down 290 towards God's country, that's where you will find us. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I'm not living in L.A. right now with all those nuts.
Nut jobs, the peaceful protests and everything.
Actually, 99.9% of the people in L.A. are just fine, but that 0.1% is making life miserable.
Paid agitators?
The paid agitators. They should throw all their butts in jail. Can't believe Waymo is every Waymo in LA has been burned to the ground, I guess.
What is a Waymo? Is that
Google owns
the driverless cars?
Yeah,
okay.
They have them in Austin. We see them all the time in Austin.
Okay.
They're Jaguar E-Pace electric vehicles, and they have occasionally see people sitting in them driving them, but for the most part, they are driverless taxis.
I have my own Uber. His name is Tuber.
Todd the Uber.
Tuber drives us around. Hey, we need to thank our sponsors today. Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room.
The perfect place to kick back, soak in the hill country, and make memories worth bottling.
How about Jovi Belterra right down on 290 also?
Where mornings start with hill country views, evenings end on the patio, and every day feels just a little bit like Saturday.
Oh, that's a good one,
Isn't that
Steve.
good?
That was a good one. South Star Bank.
Big on charm, bold on service, and just nosy enough to know your dog's name.
And they're led by a rodeo clown.
They are led by a rodeo clown.
And the Mallet Integrity Team.
Turning real estate drama into a sitcom with a happy ending. And yes, we always steal the spotlight.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I like that one.
Okay, I'll have another one next week.
There's a whole story behind that. Okay, so we used to have this beautiful
you're
girl.
Going to tell the story.
I have to tell because you said it. We had this beautiful, my friend Jenna on our team.
Our friend. She's our friend. Oh, you even naming names, Jenna. I'm so sorry. You cannot control this woman.
And she did housewarming gifts, and she did these cutting boards. And on the back side of it, she had her logo, and then it said, I'm going to let you say what it said.
For all of your happy endings. And for those of you that don't know what that means, you might just want to Google.
It means you have a nice life. That's what it means.
means you go home with a smile at the end of the day.
You need Jesus is what that means.
You need Jesus.
For sure. So
hey, our guest today.
Yes.
Patton Taylor.
Patton Taylor.
Who I have not met yet. She sounds like a wonderful young lady. And how did you meet her?
So her brother played football with my kids, and I became friends with her mom, Jill. All of us little football moms back when they were little. So I think probably Patton was maybe 2 or 3. She ran around she was kind of everybody's little sister. And when she was, I think, like 4 or 5, right around the time she was in kindergarten, she was having some issues with her body. And it took Jill on this journey to figure out what was going on with her. And when she was finally diagnosed, it was juvenile arthritis. And for any of you that don't know, juvenile arthritis is a term for arthritis. It's not like adult arthritis. It's not like what your grandmother has. It's not like what your knees have. It's a condition, an autoimmune disorder.
It's a degenerative disease,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Eats your joints.
But it's an autoimmune disorder that affects children. The juvenile arthritis affects children under the age of 16. And it causes inflammation of the joints, leading to pain, swelling, stiffness, loss of motion, so on and so forth. But it also, besides the joints, it can also affect your eyes, your skin, your internal organs, fevers, and what so on. And going into her, it's not something, my understanding, it's not something you grow out of.
Right.
And I don't know, I need to ask her, does this go from juvenile arthritis to rheumatoid arthritis? I'm not really, I know it morphs.
We're going to find out for sure,
But she is a very resilient young lady. She has had multiple surgeries. She is also an ambassador for the Arthritis Foundation and the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish Foundation, yeah, we want to ask her all about
so
that. So
I'm
she's going to come in here in a little bit and tell us about that. I think she's been an inspiration for a lot of young people, too. too. So.
Absolutely.
What do you got going on today?
Well, funny story when talking about what are they called?
That's a stormtrooper.
A stormtrooper, yeah.
Star Wars stormtrooper.
So I was thinking about things that people have left behind in homes that, like, when people are moving out. Oh yeah, there you go. Steve's showing it on the YouTube video. When people have moved out, you know, we have a lot of older clients also, and we've helped facilitate that. And I was thinking that there's been some really weird stuff that we have found left outside of home, but nothing as weird as this happened this past spring. And while conducting a home inspection, a home inspector found you ready for this? An alligator in the attic. I promise you, in the attic.
Stuffed alligator.
No,
Live alligator.
He thought it was a stuffed alligator or like fake.
That sounds like a real estate transaction that went bad, and somebody said, "I'm going to show these new owners what's what."
It was a walk-in attic, or I guess they had steps going up to it, not like a drop down.
Okay.
And it was a brand new home, and I guess some of the builders. It was in North Carolina, believe it or not. And somebody left the door open, and when he shined his flashlight on it, the alligator blinked at him, and he was like, "Okay, this is for real." It was 8 foot long.
Oh my gosh!
8 foot long. So they grabbed it and they took him out. But
I wonder if there was like squirrels or something in the attic, and it attracted the alligator up there.
I don't know. I mean,
so
have you
weird.
seen these alligators in Florida, like climbing over fences and stuff? It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But so some of the things that we've seen being left behind, I mean, people are always forgetting to go up into their attic. And I don't think people understand that once you close on a house, once you sign that paperwork.
Yeah, they don't realize this. Well, when it funds, that's the point, which means the lender or the title company has said everybody's getting their money, we're done, everybody's signed everything. That's funding. That's the point where you don't own the house anymore.
You don't own it. And if you've left something in the attic, right, it's up to the kindness of the new owners to say
to go back and get your alligator.
Get your alligator. But some of the things that have been abandoned, or most often abandoned, pool tables. We've seen that because people don't want to move them. Safes, pianos, because they're too big to move.
And they just assume that the new owners would be like, "Oh, we got a baby grand piano. How cool is that?" No, it doesn't always work that way.
"Oh, you remember how hard it was to get that couch up there in the game room? Yeah, we don't want to take that with us. We're just going to leave it there."
We're just going to leave it, yeah. I'm sorry the dog peed on it 5 times, but, it's a great couch.
No. But so here's some of the other things. Of course, toys, people like bags of toys, dishes in the dishwasher. That's one of the things I've always go look, or in the oven.
Yeah.
There's been things in the oven. How about, like, in older homes, there used to be a razor drop.
Oh, yeah,
Back
they're
behind
filled
there?
with those
Come
razor
on, man,
blades.
clean that up. That's gross. How about, here's the other one, drug paraphernalia that has been hidden in the walls.
I wanted to tell the story. It was the first week you were working with me. I was in Lubbock, I think, dropping Colton off at school. And I said, "Hey, we're closing on this house, and I just need you to go over." It was a tenant that was in it. It was owned by an investor. "I just need you to make sure that everything's out. Go over there, take a look." And you called me and you said, "There are used needles in this drawer and a used condom on the floor."
Yes. I was like, welcome to real estate.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, well, just get some rubber gloves, Michelle."
So one of the other things I saw was reading on Reddit. This woman, the first time taking a shower in her brand new home, when the steam started coming up on the mirror, somebody had written on there, "Hello, I see you." Which is someone else had stuck a little skeleton figure dressed in a monk's robe behind a furnace, and when they were servicing the furnace, they thought it was a baby that was back there. But here was one of the most craziest things that people had left behind. Teeth, which, thank you. Okay,
You
teeth.
think you'd walk out the door and go, "I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting something.
But
What am I
I'm forgetting. But here's the number one: human cremains.
Oh,
So
God.
you've left Grandpa up in the attic. Please come get him. I think I would call at that point.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
would call.
Yeah. Well, a couple things I want to talk about. One is I just went to my first Historic Preservation Commission meeting at the City Hall, and if you have not been
the brand new City Hall?
the new City Hall. So
Ooh.
the outside looks the same because that's a historical building, believe it or not.
The
But
one-story building is a
It's
historic.
it's an old church.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, but the inside is really nice. They did a great job. The meeting room that used to almost looked like it still had pews in it. It was obviously an old church. Now it's real modern. They've got luxury vinyl tile on the floor. They've got all this brand new audio visual technology in there. It's really nice. So go visit the city. The other big important news I have, Michelle.
What's that?
What do you think when you hear Fort Worth?
I think of the oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I totally forgot. I think of the Stockyards.
Stockyards.
And I also think of the enchilada and fajita place. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Well, add to that list, Fort Worth was just recently ranked as the #1 city in the entire country to survive the zombie apocalypse. Dun, dun, dun.
Really? Why?
It's this moving company came up with this. I don't know what you'd call it. They decided to find out which cities in America would be the best cities to live in when the zombie apocalypse comes. And they ranked it on 7 criteria: road conditions, distance to rural areas, population density per square mile, number of gas stations, average traffic density, and walkability score. So Fort Worth, out of every city in the country, is the place you want to live for when World War Z.
Maybe it's because they can eat the cows or whatever. Oh, the place that I was talking about was Joe T. Garcia's.
Oh.
That was the place. But maybe that's where the zombies
Forget
would
about
stop
the zombies. I know where I can get a taco.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to go eat there. That is the strangest. That is so strange.
So I thought this was interesting too. Other notable cities were the last 3. Well, first of all,
where's the worst place? Does it say the worst?
I can tell you. But let me just tell you, those of us in Texas are actually going to do pretty good when the zombies hit. Austin was 8th, Dallas was 7th, San Antonio was 6th, Charlotte was 11th, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
The bottom 3, San Francisco, New York, and L.A., which I'm actually going to say they may be already experiencing World War Z right now with those people throwing rocks and setting things on fire.
And,
I think the zombies...
fireworks at horses.
That's right, yeah. So there you go, zombie apocalypse news you can use on Mallet and Michelle.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put that in my little pocket next to Joe T. Garcia's.
Todd, we need to move to Fort Worth.
Absolutely. So, piggybacking on that, have you ever heard of something, a point in time count, a PIT count?
I have never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either. So, apparently in January across the United States, HUD, they are required to do this PIT count of the homeless population.
Yes.
And so they just recently did it, or the results have come out for Hays County. And in 2025, they said on that particular day, there were 187 homeless people that were sheltered or unsheltered in Hays County.
In the entire county.
In the entire county. They are primarily focused in San Marcos, is where they're focused in. According to this survey, 55 were unsheltered, 132 were sheltered. The count included 38 children under 5 years old and sheltered, and mainly they were adults 35 to 44. So
sheltered means they're home. They don't have a home to go home to, but they have a place to go at night to sleep and be safe, like a what we would call a homeless shelter.
Yes, but what they were saying also, that what could have skewed this count was the fact that it was really cold that night.
Oh, okay.
So it could have been that. The count in 2024 for Hays County was 210. The count in Austin is 3,238 on that particular night.
The number of homeless people in the entire county of Hays is equal to about the number that there is on one city block in downtown Austin.
Isn't that crazy? So this point in time count, what it does, it's a snapshot of a single day, and it doesn't show the full extent, because a lot of the elderly and VA, there's other places that they I guess they shelter, but Hays did its very first survey in 2021, and they counted 102 homeless people without
wow.
permanent housing.
So Hays County is a pretty good place to live as far as not having people that can't find places to live.
I guess so. They said that individuals in permanent housing or temporary living situations were not included in the count. Temporary situations included from the PIT count include people staying with friends or family, those risk of homelessness, individuals paying for hotels or motels out of pocket, and those in foster care, sober living environments, or criminal justice or healthcare facilities.
That's crazy.
So, what is kind of crazy, and it said that roughly 9% of the people that were there identified as LGBTQIA+, and approximately 44% identified as survivors of domestic violence.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I looked up also, and so if you or anybody you know is experiencing homelessness, there are places in Hays County for you to get help. The Home Center, it organizes the Homeless Coalition and offers resources like peer support, case management, so on and so forth. And they also have motel vouchers. The Southside Community Center, that one provides shelter, day services. The Hayes Caldwell Women's Center, I donate to that one every month. It offers safe emergency shelter for women and children experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault. It's a great organization.
Yeah. We've donated with Dripping Springs Elite.
Yes, I love that one. The Blanco River Regional Recovery Team assists those impacted by disaster who are homeless or at risk. The Housing Authority of San Marcos. And then, of course, you have the Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul Society. You can also go to the Texas Health and Human Resources and the Workforce Solutions. Here in town, locally, we do have, St. Martin de Porres and several churches like the Methodist Church that provide resources like helping hands for those experiencing hunger crisis. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, it's just a snapshot. It doesn't mean necessarily we only have less than 200 people. I mean, here in Dripping Springs, I think it's harder to be homeless here because there's really not a lot of places to shelter.
It's hard to be homeless here because our community is so giving also. When we see people really struggling, our community really pulls together to try and support those people. We've had people, their homes have burned down from lightning strikes. People they come together, they get them clothes, they get them food, they get them a place to stay until they get, everything in order. I mean, talk about everything you own burns to the ground. I mean, you're shocked.
Well, the community has really stepped up in that sense. Yeah, I just what I meant by that is there really isn't a resource or a place to house our homeless.
No, that's true.
And because, we just have 290 as our main thoroughfare. I-35, there are a lot of transients, and there's a lot of truck stops around there. So it's just more, it's more of a ground zero per se.
Yeah. One of the things, I've said this before on the podcast, I just was reading an article this morning. The state of California has spent $24 billion, I don't know over what period of time, but that's the total amount they've spent dedicated to homelessness in California. And the crisis there is worse than it's ever been. I think we really need a hard look at what's happening with that. They just keep throwing money at it.
Well, I think it's the enabling aspect of it.
Well, it's the enabling, but it's also, I think, there's a lot of cronyism, these slush funds of money for homeless, and they go, we're going to build 500 tiny homes to house the homeless, and then 3 of them get built, and the money's gone. Mm-hmm. It's like, where did it go?
Well, it's also the drug crisis that they experience, and it's the whole teach a man to fish.
Exactly. Right? Yes. If you want to get somebody off the street, don't just give them a tent and food and blankets and support that lifestyle. Teach them how to, or help them get a job, get a place to live. That's the first step. We're falling down on that. We've had on our podcast, a couple people that have said some nasty things about us, which we take as a badge of honor, don't we?
Is it me? Am I saying nasty things about you?
Yes, you always do. But I know you say it in love. Did you know that wanting revenge, so somebody does you wrong, wanting revenge is addicting?
Really?
That your brain goes through a similar process to when you're when you're addicted to drugs and you get overwhelmed, your body, there's a part of your brain that kicks in that craves either alcohol or drugs to stop that feeling. When you have somebody that does you wrong, your brain goes through a very similar process, and it's your dopamine kicks up, and you know somebody cuts you off or something, you want to go ram into their car. It's weird, but it's actually, that feeling is addicting.
Really?
Yes.
I think I have simmered down a lot in my old age, but if you ever crossed my children or my family,
oh yeah,
I would burn your house down.
In a heartbeat. Yeah, and feel really good about it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, being harmed or treated unfairly activates the brain's pain network. Getting revenge or just fantasizing about it releases dopamine and produces feelings of pleasure that cover up for the pain, but just for a short while. It's just like doing drugs. You feel good for a little bit, and then the high goes away, and then you feel like crap again.
I have come to learn also that sometimes revenge isn't immediate, and the karma is down the road.
Yes.
And
the revenge doesn't come from you. That person that is wronging you is also wronging other people. That comes back to get them, and when it gets them, you go, yeah, I feel good about that.
Yeah, and I look at how their marriage is and how their life is and their kids have turned out, and I'm like, haha.
Yeah. The main point of this article is that forgiveness, people who choose to forgive, reduce that activity in the brain. So somebody cuts you, I know, look at the face you're making. It doesn't feel as good, but it is better for you. Somebody cuts you off, sticks their finger out the window and flips you off. If you just say, you know what, that person must be having a much worse day than me, it reduces that tendency to go towards that dopamine, and you'll feel better about your life. So forgiveness is the key.
You know, I have to say that my grandfather was the best example of that ever. My papa, he was so
he was so gracious.
He
when
was
things
so
happened
gracious.
to him.
He was so gracious, and somebody would come in and we would say, "Oh, look at that woman," or or whatever. She's such a, and my grandfather would say, "But look at how nice her dress is."
Always found something nice.
Always something nice. My grandfather never had a cross word to say about anyone.
I think when you start looking at the world as people, the people that don't know you and wrong you, chances are they are having something going on in their life that they're really struggling with. It's different than when somebody that you know and trust and possibly love wrongs you. That's really hard to forgive. But if it's somebody that, cuts you off when trying to find a parking space in HEB, they might not have even seen you. And then here you are getting all riled up. Well, I'm going to bang my card into them. That's more about you than it is about them.
Well, the forgiveness aspect of somebody that you love or cared about at one point is more about yourself, peace for yourself than peace for them.
Well, and that's what this is. Yeah, and so if you practice that forgiveness feeling, like, oh, that person cut me off, I hope they get to where they're going safely, it actually builds up a part of your brain that gives you more self-control. So in the future, when those things happen, it's easier for you to get to the part where you say, you know what, I'm just going to let that person go down the road without flipping them off or running into the back of them.
So what do you need me to forgive you for? That's what I meant.
I have a long list.
What did you do?
Oh, God. Did you see where my cup is right now?
I do.
My cup is way over here. That's about 4 feet from our new lovely Roadcaster soundboard.
Yeah, it was actually a blessing in disguise because I
love this soundboard.
I know, it's nice.
I don't know if I can do it, but...
do the voice.
I don't know if I can do it or not.
Oh, hello. Hi, everybody.
We have voice...
You can't...
I have voice on here.
That's you. You can't hear it on the video, but you can hear it.
No, you won't hear it on YouTube, but you can hear it on Malin and Michelle.
Why are you making your mouth like that?
Because it's called for that. You have to talk this way.
And we had a really good time with this. And with that, we're going to have our guest come.
We're going to take a little break.
And get Patton Taylor in here, and she's going to visit with us for a little bit. So hang on, sit
You
tight.
need to change my voice.
I wish you all on Instagram Live could hear that. You have to go listen to